in this weird inverted world that we're living in, the criminals are actually the victims. So who are the criminals? Well, obviously, sincere Christians. They're the real problems. Sincere Christians in the middle class, boy, they're dangerous. And the FBI, it's hard to believe this, doubtless there are decent FBI agents, but the FBI as an organization has joined in the hunt for Christians, and we have proof of it. The FBI tried to manufacture crimes against sincere Catholics. The FBI's Richmond field office recently published an internal document promising to punish, quote, radical traditionalist Catholics and their ideology. Now, just to make something completely clear, the Bill of Rights prohibits the government from weighing in on sectarian or religious questions. They don't get to decide whether your religion is good or bad. They have to be agnostic on it. But the FBI has decided if you're too sincere about Catholicism, you're a criminal. The document cites obvious lies from the fascist and dishonest Southern Poverty Law Center several times. Now, we only have this memo because a recently suspended FBI agent called Kyle Seraphin brought it to the public, and we're grateful that he did. Kyle, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's hard to believe this is even real. This is one of those. What was your reaction when you saw this?
Well, my reaction is predictable. I mean, I'm a Catholic, number one, and I think it's appalling. It's one of those things that when the government has gotten to the point where you talked about our Second Amendment rights, and those defend our First Amendment rights to practice our religion, particularly the way that we want to. I'm friends with people who love the Latin Mass. I grew up in a traditional school where I actually learned Latin in 5th and 6th grade and all the way through high school. And it doesn't seem reasonable, but it is the state of the FBI at this point that they are so desperate to find white supremacists that they're going to look at the Catholic Church. But I think if we're realistic about it, what they're doing is they have found a gateway in what they think is fringe Catholicism in order to move into Christians in general and declare them to be the actual the criminals in this country or the potential terrorists. And that's what I think we're seeing, because the whole document basically is written from the perspective of somebody who thinks that there are significant abortion rights that need to be defended and also an LGBTQ agenda that has to be pushed down the American people's throats. And those are antithetical to Catholicism. So it's pretty easy. It's an open door into Christians in this country, which is pretty much all the country.
Well, yeah, and also Orthodox Judaism and Islam and Mormonism. I mean, they're right. And did no one in the FBI say, whoa, wait a second. It's not our job to decide which is a better religion and criminalize people's religious belief. Did anyone in your world within the Bureau say that?
Well, obviously, the whistleblower who brought it to me. So I'm in contact with a number of people who work in the FBI and have the same values that probably you and I do. And so, you know, they brought it to me. One of them brought it to me and said, this is a problem. And this person is not a Catholic. But he or she stated the very simple statement, which is that if they're going to go after radical traditional Catholics, then radical traditional Baptists are next, and radical traditional evangelicals, and anybody else that espouses essentially what is radical, which is just a Christian faith. And that is dangerous, apparently, in this country.
I'm not Catholic either. I'd be defending the Scientologists or anybody else. Like, you can't do this.
Yes.
So I appreciate you bringing this to the public. Kyle Seraphin, thank you.
Thanks, Tucker.
Subscribe to the Fox News YouTube channel to catch our nightly opens, stories that are changing the world and changing your life. From Tucker Carlson tonight.